They said they wanted power.
Oh, awesome.
Zaba, Zakalush, Kalamatskalo.
Welcome to Guru Talks.
Guru? What do they do, like levitate and chill on mountaintops?
Not exactly, but you are in the right place to find out everything you need to know, and it's actually quite simple. I am your host, Florian Boschi, and I will be going extra deep with Guru Bhaneswaranand each and every show. We are covering deep truths about relationships, success in business, world peace, and many other topics. Oh, and of course, enlightenment. Because our Guru, well, he is enlightened. Welcome to episode 19 of Guru Talks. Our topic today is about what is Guru and what is Guru not. Guru Bhaneswaranand, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Could you tell us right away, just to get straight into it, what is a Guru?
Akhandimandalakaram vyaptamen characharam tatpadam pujitam chayo tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. It's a good topic you have chosen. The meaning of Guru, if we want to know, we have to understand the word. Gu means darkness and Ru means light. A person who is able to take you from darkness towards light is called Guru. In Sanskrit, there is a description which says Tamso ma jyotir gamaya. From darkness to light, if somebody can take you, he is your Guru.
Okay, that's an interesting explanation. So is there a difference between a teacher and a guru? Would a teacher also take somebody from darkness to light?
Anyone who takes us towards light from darkness is a guru. And by this definition, every human being comes across at least five types of gurus in his life. First is mother, second is father, third is surroundings, fourth is school teacher, and fifth is spiritual guru. So that answers your question, that school teacher has also changed our life, and he is also one of the guru in our life.
Okay, that's great. I remember about a week ago you were giving a workshop in Dresden in Germany, and somebody spoke to you about this topic, one of the people who attended the workshop. And I think if I remember correctly, you were speaking about this, you were telling this person that a guru is not necessarily a teacher and a teacher is not necessarily a guru. So I would like to go into that specific perspective that you were speaking about back then. You were saying that a teacher can also teach you from a book, or can teach you a language or something, and that's not necessarily the same as helping a person change from darkness to light. So I just want I would like you to speak about the distinction between the two.
A spiritual guru is one who changes your life by everything, by teaching, by words, by action, and by transferring the source energy in you. And in that prospects, a school teacher and gurus becomes different, because gurus provides you wisdom and school teacher provides you information.
So it seems like from what you're saying, not everybody can be a guru. What does it take to teach wisdom versus information?
It's again very interesting things what you're asking. Whatever you have, you can teach anyone. If you have studied physics, you can teach physics. And if you have learned deep spirituality, you can teach deep spirituality. So what it takes, whatever a person has learned and mastered, he can definitely teach you that thing.
Okay, so let me ask you differently. What does somebody need to master to be able to lead somebody from darkness to light, or to teach wisdom, as you said, versus teaching information? What is the actual skill that needs to be mastered?
Number one, he should have himself gone from darkness towards light. He should have attained the light what he want to teach to his disciples. He who has gone through this path can take others on the same path.
Okay. Several years ago, I have taken a yoga training, and in that yoga training, there was a lot of talk about moving from darkness to light. Have I then traveled from darkness to light when I took this yoga class? And am I now qualified to lead people from darkness to light?
When you have taken yoga class, you have learned several yogas. I do not know whether you have mastered them or not. If you have mastered them, you are eligible to teach yoga.
Is that wisdom or is that knowledge?
It is definitely knowledge. It is not wisdom. And yoga teacher learns yoga and masters the technique to do yogic exercises, and he can then teach yoga. The deeper side of yoga, which you have not practiced at that time, which involves 8 limbs from yam to samadhi, and if you have done all of that, maybe you can teach it. But as you know, today's yoga has become only the exercises, and only one part of yoga is being taught all over the world. It is called asanas. So if you have not mastered it, you cannot teach your disciples.
Okay, that makes sense. You have told me before that a guru is always declared a guru by his own guru, which means you can never decide yourself, oh, now I'm a guru, right? It's always your own guru that decides the point in time when you're being declared a guru. Is that correct? Did I understand this correctly?
Yes. In every system, it is being decided that whether you are a teacher or not. When you do your post-graduation in English, you do your post-graduation in history, you can teach history. Similarly, the process by which you becomes complete in a subject like tantra or spirituality is called purnavishek. And after that, if your guru wants to decide that you should become a teacher, he also provides you gurutva abhishek. And if that has been provided, you are qualified to teach the spirituality.
Okay. Now, in the case of a history teacher, it's relatively simple. Like, let's say somebody has specialized in Southeast Asian historic studies, and they know all the facts about the last 2,000 years about certain geographical locations, and then they're being tested upon this material, and if they know it sufficiently, they basically become a master in the subject. What are the qualities that make a guru declare their disciple or their student a guru themselves? What needs to happen that a master will say, okay, my son, now you have become a guru yourself? Is there like a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 qualities that need to be achieved? And if yes, what are they?
Yes, there are a set of qualities, and gurus, when they are teaching their disciples, they keep guiding them as you learn in the schools. Here also, the guidance comes continuously, and the qualities what gurus puts in his disciples are emotion free. You should remain same in every circumstances. You should remain detached, away from the fear, hatred, shame, anger, and you should accept situation as it is. You should not be sad, you should not be happy, you should remain always in bliss.
This is a very rare thing to find, I would think.
Gurus are very rare. All of us know about it. Guru is a word which came from the Sanskrit, and now it is being used world over to describe perfectionist. And if you say yoga guru, that means you are perfectionist in yoga. There are even, this term nowadays is being used even in the business. They say, I'm guru of this, I'm guru of this. But a spiritual guru doesn't say that I'm guru of this. He is only a guru. And yes, every quality in him has already been tested by his guru. There is no paper where you put a government stamp that you are a postgraduate today, but a guru by his words declare that you are complete, you have completed what is needed, and then you can remain to yourself, or you can decide to teach, or sometimes what happens, gurus decides for you, oh my son, I have done everything needed for you, now you help and help the society, help the world, help someone who needs you, and then you can start teaching and you become guru.
So, as we're speaking about this, there is a burning topic that comes to mind. It seems like, Guru Bhaneswaranand, that there are and there have been a lot of misconceptions about gurus in the world. Can you add something to this topic in terms of these, misconceived notions that are happening or that have been happening at certain times in history and especially in the present?
You see, good and bad exist together. It's not only in the field of spirituality that exploitation has taken place. In every aspect of our life, exploitation takes place. All those who has got power tries to exploit all those who are powerless. In our world today also, sometimes the word guru is used in different terminology, and some criminal kind of persons are able to enter the religion, not spirituality, religion. And they start calling themselves guru sometimes, sometimes they call themselves saints, sometimes they call something different. But yes, their mind is towards negative side, and they exploit the masses at large, they exploit some people sometime, and because of them the word guru has got a little bit of misconception.
Yeah. You know, from past podcasts and what we're talking right now, it seems like that the existence of gurus is something very important in the world for spiritual advancement of students and people in the world, and something that is really useful for people. Do you think that this abuse or this exploitation, as you call it, is creating some kind of a damage among potential students who might now just experience a lack of trust? Even by maybe hearing the word of guru, they might already think, oh no, the danger of going there might be too big. I might basically come upon a fake guru, and how would I even know the difference?
You are right. Because of these misconceptions, because of these things what has happened in the latest past, the authenticity of the word guru is in doubt. And it is our duty as a spiritual person to clear those doubts from our sisters and brothers' mind, so that the word remains as pure as it was in the past.
Okay. So, just out of the perspective of a potential student who is looking for a guru, or is looking for assistance of this kind, you were saying before that the traits of a guru are that you don't make a difference between one thing or another. You look at things in the same way. You don't get upset, right? You don't get disturbed by outside circumstances. I guess in a way, I assume that this would be traits that potential students should be looking for to verify if somebody is real or not.
In nowadays world, things are changed. But if you go into the scriptures, they have already given a method in which disciples goes with the full heart open and tests a person whether he is capable of becoming his guru or not. He talks to him, and he talks to him again maybe. And if everything goes all right and disciples feels that yes, I am safe and protected in this environment, he can start learning from the guru.
So it seems like from what you're saying, it is not only okay to test a potential guru, but it is actually a requirement for a student to do so.
Yes, scripture says so, and every aspect of our life. If I want to get my child admitted in school, I try to know about the school. And similarly, if I want to go into other aspects of life, we try to know whether this is good for me or not. Here too, if somebody want to learn spirituality, he goes to a guru, asks several questions, see whether he is calm or not, see whether he answers your questions with patience or not. You see whether the love flows from him or not. If everything you like in him, you go ahead.
So would you recommend that a potential student will try to make their guru or their potential guru upset? Try to make them mad?
That is a very, very interesting question. If he is a guru, nothing can make him mad. And if your questions makes him mad, he is not a guru.
What if he deflects your questions?
What is that?
Meaning he doesn't want to answer them or he's trying to avoid them.
You see, I have come to you for learning, let us say. Let us say I am the person who want to learn and I have come to you for learning. And I asked you a question and you do not answer. Do you think I should stay with you?
That's what I'm asking. I think that would be a really questionable thing, right?
Yes. And if anywhere we experience in any person that my doubts will not get cleared here, he may be very intelligent, very wise, maybe God, but he cannot be my guru.
Okay. So testing your guru is recommended. Like I could, for example, ask you something and then I ask you the same thing again 5 minutes later and then I do the same thing again and I just do it so many times to check if you can keep the patience with me or something. Yes? That's an okay strategy for a potential student, you're saying?
I think yes, if a student want to discuss something, he must, and it is recommended. I will not say it is recommended. I will say it is required. You are taking a very big decision of your life. You cannot take it without thinking.
Now, I think you already answered the next question in some ways, but I want to ask again, just to get like a coherent, a summary maybe of it. How do you know? Now, let's say you have identified, okay, I have tested this person to the T. I have tested their patience. I have tried to make them angry. I have, I have double doubted them and so on and so on. And I have now decided, okay, this is a really stoic person. There is really nothing that can throw this person off. I assume now that this is a real guru. This person has really reached a state where they are free of all these outside influences. It still doesn't mean that this is my guru, right?
Yes.
So how can you tell if somebody is your guru versus just a guru you meet and you have to keep searching for the one that is really yours, that fits with your soul?
When you meet your guru, your heart immediately identifies him. But at the same time, mind has got doubts, mind has got some questions. If your heart has not identified, don't ask these questions to him. Move ahead in your journey. And if your heart feels this is the place I should stay, this is the place where all my desires, where all my questions will get answered, and then to satisfy your mind, you ask your guru few questions, and then mind and heart comes together. Yes, this is the place I can learn, and then you start your process of learning.
I have to ask you something because out of personal experience that I had with you, watching you speak to several people actually in the past that were potentially your disciple or that wanted to be your disciple or wanted to find a guru. And I remember one particular case where, they were voicing their doubt and they were obviously a little bit distraught. They were a little bit confused and they didn't know and they were going back and forth. And then you told me in private later on that this person's soul and your soul are meant for each other. Meaning you were very clear that this disciple is your disciple and that you are this disciple's guru. However, they weren't clear so much. Their heart was pounding, they were nervous, so there was a little bit confusion. So I think maybe it's not always 100% clear for somebody, even though it is clear for you, but then you don't say it, you let them come to terms with it, and it has to come from them basically, right? Is that correct?
Yes. See, the first request should always come from a person who want to learn. And if there is a confusion, I will request these persons to take time. Do not expect your guru to tell you that you are his disciple. And I should expect this from all gurus also, that they should not say that you are his disciple. You take time till your heart and mind comes together, till you have decided. Because if there had been the cases where gurus has told disciple, you are mine, come, but then his doubts, what was there at the first instance, does not go for a long time, and that may create troubles in his learning. It may bring ego in this person. He may think that I am a privileged person and Guruji has told me that you come start learning. This is the process every human being should go in himself without being assisted from outside. And he should follow only his inner voice, his inner things, his inner consciousness to decide whether he want to go ahead or not to go ahead.
I have seen you though recommending initiation to somebody, which I would think is equal to offering somebody that they can be your disciple. Is this not the same thing, or can you comment on that?
When somebody asks me, I'm facing this problem in my life, there is a confusion, there is something which I am not understanding in my life, there is something not normal with me, maybe I have told them, and why maybe I usually tell them that you may need initiation. But that is in no way an invitation or an order to become my disciple.
It is just a solution that you're offering, basically.
Yes, if somebody has got spiritual potential, they face certain kind of problems, certain kind of the situations, they come again and again and again related to energy, and to solve that confusion in them, I say maybe you need a guru, maybe you need an initiation. And I think I have never told them that you need me as a guru.
Usually say you need a guru because that is the solution for what you need. Go find one.
Yes.
Okay. Which is not so easy, by the way. You can't just go out and find a guru easily.
Nothing in this universe is easy, and nothing in this universe is difficult. If you have decided to find something, you will eventually start working for it and will find one. If you do not decide, everything is difficult.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, I think this has been sufficiently answered. I want to go a little bit into a different direction. Let's look at the whole tradition of Gurudom or Guruship or however you want to call it. I understand that the guru can only become a guru by being led by another guru. And this guru can only become a guru by having been led by another guru, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth, ad infinitum into the past. Now, my question is, where does this tradition come from? Who started this? What is the source, the root of all this? Where did it start? Did it ever start?
It's a very nice that you are asking this. The creation is Sanatan. That is what the truth is. It is not based on our belief. It is this, everything was present in all the times. So there is no start and there is no end, because it is Sanatan. But yes, since you have asked a very, very, very nice question, Guru of all gurus is called Shiva in Sanskrit, and most of the wisdom comes from him, and he has several disciples, and one of his disciples was his own wife. Whatever he has taught has been documented by few people and is available in different form of tantra books, different form of scriptures, different form of the religious spiritual books, and we can read them.
But I thought you said it's not about teachings, it's about wisdom.
Yes, you see, but what you are thinking, I told you that this guru also had several disciples. The wisdom, what you want to attain, the knowledge, what you want to attain, is beyond words. So whatever has been written or documented, from there you can get a direction, but not the wisdom. For wisdom, then you have to work. You have to work in close contacts with the guru to reach there.
Okay. You know what's a question that always wonders me, because guru is a desireless state, right? The guru is in a desireless state. Could you say that?
Yes,
Yes.
I always say that.
Yes. So I wonder, there is this ongoing thing where one guru gets a disciple, and then that disciple becomes a guru, and then gets a disciple, becomes a guru, gets a disciple, becomes a guru, and so on. But if all these people are desireless, how does this continue? Why is there even, why would a desireless being even have a desire to have a disciple? So how does this tradition even continue if it is basically full with desireless people who don't want anything? Do you see what I'm saying?
No, it's not true. You see, the search or desire of a person takes him to a guru. Guru never goes in search of disciples. Guru has attained the desireless state, not the disciple. Disciple searches him, finds him out, learns from him, again reaches a desireless state, and then somebody else finds him. This is how it continues. And it doesn't continue from teacher to student. Search is always from student to teacher. Love flows from teacher to student. But search is always from student to teacher.
Okay. But you, for example, Bhaneswaranand, you are giving workshops in Germany, right? I mean, that looks very much like you're actively going out to find disciples, right? And maybe I'm wrong, but that's how it appears, right? I mean, you are the one who is actively going into another country looking for students? How is this not you looking, but the disciple looking for you?
See, it has been, I'm traveling, that's true. Your question is very valid. But when I started traveling for the first time and came to Europe, it was not me. It was on the request of one of my disciple that please come. And he wanted to do some workshops, not searching the disciples, but he wanted to do some workshops about the relationship, which was the problem somewhere, about something else, which was the problem somewhere, and he wanted to resolve these things. And therefore, on his invitation, I have come. And when he invited me for the first time, I told him, my passport has expired long back. Then he requested other disciples of mine to get my passport, and this is how it is started. It is not searching somebody, it is telling that yes, this exists, you can probably experience it, you can experience the calmness, you can experience the blissful state, you can experience all this is being told. It is not a search, or it is not out of any desire.
I see. So you basically following, or you were following an impulse of one of your disciples, or it's just impulses that the universe brings to you, and you're following them. Is that
Yes,
valid?
you can say so. Most of the gurus, they agree with their disciples, and if one of my disciples wanted to do something, I go along with him, and whatever he want me to do spiritually, I try and do it for him. It has got nothing with my desire or with my desireless state.
So once a disciple decides, oh wow, I think this is the right person for me to lead me from darkness to light, meaning it is the right guru for me. That's not the end of the story, right? Many times gurus deny disciples. They say, no, you're not right for me. This is not an energetic fit. How does this work? This aspect, the other side of it, no?
Yeah, it is. Yes, after after disciple has decided that I should learn from you, then again scripture says that you must test your disciples whether he is able to take this energy or not, whether he, after taking this energy, whether he will be able to hold this energy with him or not. There are several aspects, and yes, every guru tests his disciples whether he is capable of taking this thing or not, and if not, he says go and wait for some more time. You are maybe you are not meant for this, you are meant for something different. Answers of refusal are also very polite. Sometimes even you may not come to know that it is a refusal.
Okay, wonderful. I would like to speak a little bit about famous gurus in history. There was a conversation I had recently where I spoke with somebody about Buddha, and they were saying that Buddha didn't have a guru. So I went on the internet and looked it up, and it seems like Buddha very much had several gurus actually. So in your eyes, was Buddha a guru? Did he have a guru? Is he what we are talking about here right now? Or was he what we are talking about here right now?
Yes, I think you have answered the question by yourself. That question was whether Buddha had a guru. That is answered by yourself, that yes, he had a guru. most of the people of the world, they do not know about it. Yes, and there is no one who learns by himself. It is always from Guru to a disciple. Buddha was Guru himself later on, after attaining the Buddhism, after attaining the Buddhatva, it is called in Sanskrit and Hindi. When he attained Buddhatva, he became a Guru. But before then, that when he was learning, he had a Guru and several Gurus to learn his deeds of spirituality. So, in details, Buddha was a Guru and he was having a Guru. So that answers your question.
Yeah, the next question that basically comes to mind right away. So, is Buddhism containing all the principles that lead one to the path of Buddha?
Not necessary. See, Buddhism is not the baby of Buddha. Buddhism is the baby of some other people, maybe some of his disciples, or public at large, or a group of people who wanted to follow what Buddha has taught. So Buddhism has got nothing to do with Buddha. Please clear your doubts. Buddhism has got nothing to do with Buddha.
Okay.
Buddha has taught something, Buddha has experienced life, and he has shared his experience with some of his disciples, and disciples has written it, documented it, and on basis of this documentation, some teachings were later formed, and they started calling them Buddhist teaching. And similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10,000, whatever numbers, they started following it, and it became a religion, or it became whatever you call it. It became a group, and Buddha has not created Buddhism.
Okay, wow. You know, another person that seems very relevant is Jesus Christ. And I'm wondering about Jesus Christ. I've heard in one of your lectures you were briefly mentioning that Jesus had a guru, which was a very new concept to me. And I don't know, maybe we can elaborate on this? Jesus is generally known as the Son of God in Christianity, right? So there isn't any talk about Jesus having a guru, but are you saying that Jesus was a guru himself?
See, if it is not talked about, that does not mean it does not exist. So, every human being is Son of God. This is what was told by Jesus. He never told that he is Son of a God. That is again our perception that he is Son of God. You are also Son of God, and everyone who is present on this earth is definitely Son of God, and therefore God is also known as Father. Okay?
Okay.
And coming to your original question, whether Jesus had a guru or not, I tell every time, and I am telling now, you can only learn wisdom from a guru. So he had a wisdom, and Therefore, he has learned from a guru. And if you have read, or I don't know how far it is being told to people or not, but he had been in Himalayas for couple of years where he learned his everything from Mahavatar Babaji, who was his guru, and he learned everything from him and reached to the stage where he is today.
Okay, wow, fascinating. But it throws up a really important question, right? Because Jesus came back then from Himalaya, I guess, and then his famous time in life must have started after that. And then, in the end, he died a violent death on the cross. And this opens up many questions. Can gurus control reality? If they could, why would Jesus go somewhere where they crucify him, right? So, do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand the question?
I understand, yes. Now, you have to understand Jesus first before you answer your question. Jesus Christ was not his name. Okay? He was initiated and made to reach perfection by Mahavatar Babaji Maharaj, and he was given a name in Sanskrit. As every person who reaches perfection gets a name from his guru, and that name is different than the name given by our parents. And his name was Isai Nath.
Okay.
The Isai is the religion what you follow. What Christian today is, in Sanskrit it is called Isai. So he was given a name Isai Nath. So whoever started following what he has told was identified as Isai.
I see.
So that is how the story of Jesus goes. Isai, when you translate into English, comes to something like Christ or a Messiah.
I see.
And
so
that is
Isai
how,
is Messiah.
Yeah, Isai is Messiah. And the person Jesus Christ in Sanskrit is known as Isa Masih.
Okay.
The name itself changes because it is not the name of the person. It is something what he has attained. Because of that, his name was given by his guru as Isai. And his name today, again, if you go to India, they don't call him Christ. They call him Isa Masih. Okay.
Okay.
So he was initiated. He has followed the similar path what you are following, and he has reached to a perfection wherein he was given the name Isai Nath by his guru Mahavatar Babaji Maharaj, and it all happened in the part of Himalaya which is called Tibet today. Tibet was part of India. I don't want to discuss the political conditions, but Tibet today is part of China, and that was the place where Isa Masih or Jesus Christ attained his perfection.
Okay. So great. So then Jesus came back. Now he has perfection, which means he's enlightened, right? So does that mean a person that is enlightened, does a person that is enlightened have foresight? Because I wonder, he was basically coming back, running towards his violent death. And somehow this seems strange to me, right?
Nothing is strange. You see, when you attain the state of perfection, attain the state of enlightenment, there is no life and there is no death. Death is a beautiful experience. You see, and you are, he was not affected by life and death. This was the only way probably these people could have been taught, because he was very keenly interested to come back, and his guru has ordered him to go back, and they knew, both of them, they knew that you will get crucified. All those who think that Jesus was not knowing what the future is going to be are in the darkness. Jesus knew everything what is going to happen, but still, in the interest of helping people remove their sin, he came back and crucified his life. And because of this crucifixion, some of the people, they came on the right path. Jesus was a great man, and Jesus is a greatly enlightened. Everything he has done for public at large, people at large, to save them from their sin. And even after death, when you were crucifying him, he says, "What are you doing, my children? You will repent for it. It is not the right thing you are doing." And whatever he said, even at the time of death, that came out true. People who crucified him, they were not happy later on, and started following him. And that is how, on the name of Isa, again, as I said, the Buddhism has got nothing to do with Buddha. Christianity has got nothing to do with the Christ. He don't wanted to form a group. He wanted to remove the sins from the person's life. And slowly, 1, 2, 5, 10 people started following his teachings. The group became large. You can call it religion, you can call it group, you can call it Christianity, you can call it anything. But this is how it has happened.
Okay, so Jesus and his guru had a master plan, and they knew about what would happen. Did they know up until crucifixion, or did they know about the entire age of Christianity, where, I don't know, hundreds of million people around the world would, if not billions, would follow these teachings? How much did they actually know?
They know everything. I mean, when I say that they know everything, it doesn't exclude that they know only crucifixion and this and that. They know, they knew everything, and it was in the interest of those women and men, those sisters and brothers in that part of the earth where he felt sin is too much, it should get away, and it can only go away by my death. And he took that decision, a brave decision, or whatever, and a lot of things has happened because of that.
Okay, but sin, I mean, isn't there, you say there is no such thing as sin for an enlightened person?
When you are in the state of enlightenment, for you there is no sin. But for others who were suffering, who were not understanding what to do, in the state of confusion, he came and did this act.
Okay. And the other question I have here is that, I mean, I've met a few enlightened people now through you, and they still experience physical pain, right? So, I mean, that would still be something you would probably try to avoid, right? Because it must hurt like crazy to be on a cross for 3 days before you die without water and from bleeding out. And I mean, that must be a horrible experience, enlightened or not, or am I wrong there?
You see, you don't get involved. That does not mean that pain is not there. Every person who has got the human body will have pain, but you don't get involved and you don't get affected. You see, they were doing and he was not affected. They were doing something and he was not affected. That does not mean that your body is not suffering. Your body is definitely suffering. You are not affected as a perfectionist person, as an enlightened person, and takes it as it was in the interest of the people he wanted to serve, or he wanted to make them understand what the truth should be.
So there is another story about Jesus, which kind of like makes the whole mystery of Jesus so great, I guess, is that, after Jesus' crucifixion, he was brought in, his dead body was brought into a cave. And then, it was the resurrection 3 days later that everybody speaks about, where he basically supposedly came back to life. And then, there's even a story that he had a family later and moved to India. Another story says that he raised up into heaven with his body. So there are different stories about that. And, what is true about that? What is not? How do you, as a guru, explain these stories? And is there some form of a correlation to what really happened?
Soul has no death. So he had a capacity to work with his body and without his body. All these stories are stories from all of us, which has got no relevance in his life, but yes, he went back to his guru, whether in the life form or, he went back to his guru in Himalaya after the whole process was completed. And this process which went through is not the process of him, it is the process of his body.
So he was able to keep existing or keep going to the Himalayas as a ghost without his body, or speak to his disciples? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you can call ghost, but ghost word has also been used in a different text, that bad souls, good and bad, what exists in the world, according to the world, bad souls are being called ghosts. So I will not call Isa Masih as ghost.
His spirit, maybe.
His spirit, yes. His spirit went to India and he has gone to his guru and said that required work has been done. I think they will learn a lesson from it.
So you as a guru, my question is, all these things that you're telling us, they are fascinating. How do you get all this information? Because, these things are, maybe some of them are written down somewhere, but it seems like, you just have like a download of some kind. How does this work? How do you know about all these things?
I don't know. The only thing what I know, it's not me. It's when you get connected to source, you do not exist. Source takes over, and through this body of mine may tell anything. And I do not have an ego of knowing this. I really do not know this, to be very honest, but it comes to me and I just tell you.
Okay. Okay. So, here's another question I have, and I'm not exactly sure how to ask it, but, the world seems to be full with, attempts to control reality in some way or form, right? So we have like teachings about the law of attraction that, if we feel a certain way, if we manage to, adjust our feelings in a certain way, or if we manage to think positively, that we can somehow protect ourselves, so that we can somehow control reality. And you have said in the past, also in the podcasts, that this is not necessarily something that happens. However, so my question is, if you become a guru, can you control reality? Can destiny be changed?
Yes and no, both. Number one, when you become complete, you don't want to change anything.
No, it's convenient.
So it doesn't matter. But yes, from the history I can tell you, destinies has been changed in few of the cases. So answers is yes and no both. By and large, the big rules of the nature are decided, and according to what you work or you act, you get karmas. But in the past, as I tell you, there had been the cases of Satyabrat, of Vishwamitra, wherein destiny did not hold because of their karmas. And
What's that? I'm not sure those two names. I've never heard them. Can you explain?
yes, I can explain. Vishwamitra was a very big king, and that is what his destiny was. But when he met an enlightened person called Vasisht, it's a big story. I can only tell in short because otherwise your two podcasts will go on Vishwamitra's life.
Okay.
He became envious of Vasisht, and he wanted to be like him. That is how his journey started. He left his kingdom and went into the forest in search of the wisdom, and he wanted to learn from everybody but not Vasisht. But then finally he learned few things from Vasisht also, and he became the great guru himself. That is a very famous story in Sanskrit. Sometimes you can Google it and you can read the whole story, or in some other podcast you can do on Vishwamitra's story also.
Okay.
There had been incidences, I want to say, where predestined things has been changed. But there are only few incidences which we can count on our fingers. Rest everything goes as the nature want.
Okay. You said something on the lines that we are completely at random, I guess, that we cannot control our destiny as a regular person, and we cannot gain protection. We never know what will happen.
I understand what you want to say, and I again can tell this in details that if your capability decides nothing,
Yes.
because suppose I want to travel from here to Paris, my capacity decides only this much, that I can buy a business class ticket or an economy class ticket, or I can have a chartered plane. But my reaching there or not reaching there will depend upon whether the airplane will come in time or it will not come in time, whether it will develop any fault or it will not develop any fault, my life is dependent on several other human beings, several other machines, several other nature, several other food, several other things. So my capabilities does not define how my life will be. It is only God, source, or whatever name you want to give, nature, that decides how I will live on this earth. And therefore, I always say to everyone that do not be in the ego that you can do everything. Rather, go to the simplicity that you cannot do anything. It is you are doing your karmas depending upon what you are destined with, and everything is taken care of in this universe by the nature. Love nature, respect it, honor it, and remove your ego to have very nice, satisfactory life.
Yeah. I remember a conversation that we had where you were saying it's kind of like the contradiction in itself is that as long as you have a desire to control your destiny, you're totally at a whim. But then the moment you reach a place where you don't care anymore, where you have an equal care for everything, that there is actually some kind of protection that is coming in, right? So gurus are usually protected. You said, or maybe I understood this. I misunderstood you when you said that.
I mean, they are protected. Protection is not needed at enlightenment state, but yes, when somebody takes an initiation to enter the path of spirituality, Guru protects them.
Okay, I see. I was thinking particularly of a guru that seems to be very, very dear to you, and his name he has passed on many years ago, but his name is Ramakrishna, and you told me several stories about him. I think you believed him to be one of the greatest gurus, and he actually died from throat cancer, and we spoke about this before. Can you explain or can you tell us about this story a little bit?
He did not die. He left his body because of the throat cancer. See, everybody has to destroy. Everybody has to destroy. That does not mean that I'm destroying. You have to understand, biological body has got a limit. And it has to destroy. And again, nature is so clever that it doesn't take the responsibility of destroying the body on its own. So you always try to find some causes because of what your body gets destroyed. So, let us not conclude by how somebody has died, his true nature, his valuable wisdom. These are both were very wise, they were gurus, they were enlightened, and they have left the body in some way or other. I will also leave my body in some way or other. So it is a very natural thing. Death doesn't mean anything at that stage when you are enlightened, and it is just leaving your body.
Okay. It's amazing to me because there is definitely the notion among spiritual communities, that the level of spirituality of a person is judged by things like if they die well, or by things like are they fat, or how well are they able to maintain their body, how good are they looking, how radiant is their body and their skin, etc., 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 etc. Right? I'm sure you have heard this before, right? So please, your comment.
The level of spirituality is being decided whether you have become non-dual or still dual.
Duality.
Yes.
Okay.
So, whatever you are asking me, you only experience in the state of duality.
Yes.
Okay. Enlightened souls are beyond duality, beyond opposition, beyond good and bad. And therefore, we say that as long as opposites exist, you are not an enlightened human being. You are still missing something, and therefore duality exists. The state of non-duality in which you remain in the state of bliss has got nothing to do with all these things you have spoken about.
Yes, okay. I guess last question. Even Jesus had to go to India to find his guru, right? Or what is Tibet now and was India then. And then the word comes from India. It's a Sanskrit word or a Hindi word or maybe both. Are gurus just in India? Do they just exist in India? Are there more gurus in India? Are they everywhere? What's the geographical distribution of gurus in the world?
They exist everywhere. You cannot say that they exist here, there, but yes, mountain top, I think, is a little better place for them to live. So maybe in Himalayas there are more, but yes, they exist everywhere.
Okay, so it's true. Enlightened people are somewhere in a cave in the mountains.
Reason is, you see, the moment you enter into non-duality state, you are not understood by the people who are in state of duality. And because thought patterns does not match, they try to find a place where this does not exist and remain somewhere. But that does not, and time again, they visit the places. They come and they are present everywhere. So let us not bind them by a geographical condition that in this state only gurus are there or in that state the gurus are there. They are present everywhere in the world. Their energy is present everywhere in the world, and the universal presence of gurus can be felt everywhere.
Many more questions. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Guru Bhaneswaranand, and we'll see each other again next week.
You are most welcome.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Guru Talks. Share this episode with anyone who wants to be enlightened by Guru Bhaneswaranand, and don't forget to click subscribe.